So we've been telling you about the fool's errand of sending progressives into Congress under the Democratic Party and then watching them turn into shit libs who gaslight their own supporters, right? So, well, it's even worse than you think. Not only will they not fight for you, meaning the Justice Democrats, but now they're actually working against you. So here's AOC's PAC. She started her own PAC? And everybody thought that was a good thing because now she doesn't have to worry about the DNC and the money. They're not going to be controlling her money, and she can give it right to the candidates she wants to, the progressives she wants to. It turns out her PAC donated over $100,000 in leftist cash to right-wing Democrat incumbents ahead of the 2022 Democratic primary election. She's taking the money you're giving her. You're a progressive. You're a lefty. You want Medicare for all. You want student debt relief. You want a $15 minimum wage. She's going to take the money you give to her to go fund those things and give it to people who are working against it. That's what she's doing, just so you know. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Courage to Change PAC. That's what it's called. A Courage to Change PAC. Courage to change. More like courage to give really awful people a lot of change. How about that? Her Courage to Change PAC, which markets itself to donors on the left as an answer to a broken system. Man, that's balls, huh, Ron? That is fucking balls. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Courage to Change PAC, which markets itself to donors on the left as an answer to a broken system, was exposed as giving to many incumbent Democrats in the first quarter of 2021 in advance of the 2022 midterms. Hey, we're going to have a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party. Here's some money for the people we're trying to take over. What?
It's called strategy.
It's called strategy. And it's not sexy. The PAC, so Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's money PAC, which claims to use contributions to make early investments in progressive challengers that can even the playing field against established incumbents. That's what they say they do. They can even the playing field against established incumbents with all that cash. Well, what have they really been doing? Well, in fact, they've been giving over $100,000 in campaign donations to right-wing incumbents, Democrats, who take corporate PAC money. Wow, a lot of change, huh? A lot of change. Hope and change, a lot of change. This includes thousands of dollars to a guy named Ron Kine, the Wisconsin Democrat, who succeeded Joe Crowley as chair of the New Democratic Coalition, according to FEC filings. Courage to Change, which alleges to back candidates who don't take corporate PAC donations, started off the 21-22 election cycle by giving the maximum to 31 candidates, almost all of whom directly received corporate PAC money, according to filing documents accessed through the Open Secrets. Every now and again, we make an exception to the corporate PAC money rule. You know, like 31 times. Just 31 times, Ron. Just every once in a while or 31 times. Courage to Change will refuse all corporate PAC donations, as will our candidates. As a result, grassroots support is critical to our efforts to build a progressive majority in So this is AOC straight up lying. That's not a gaslight. That's not a bullshit. That's a bald-faced fucking lie, extorting money from people and using it for nefarious purposes. In fact, the exact opposite thing of what they said. People who refuse no, they give it to the people who take corporate PAC money. Well, not all the time, just 31 times. That is stunning. As leftists, we only have a limited amount of funding each cycle to go around, and we need to know it's going to the right people in the right places. If we can't trust our allies in office, we need better and more honest allies. And that's what I say. If you call the Justice Democrats your allies because they give you lip service, that's why people call them allies, by the way. They've done shit. People who call them allies say that because they give lip service to Medicare for all, give lip service to $15 minimum wage. They give lip service to the public option, to student debt. They give lip. That's why they call them allies. That's not an ally. You're a chump if you think someone in the Justice Democrats is your ally. You are a chump. Just like you think if you think Bernie Sanders is trying to push Joe Biden left, you are a chump of the highest order. And if you think the Justice Democrats are your allies because they give you lip service to the policies you like, you are a easily duped chump. There are no permanent allies. There's only permanent interests. So if we can't trust our allies in office, we need better and more honest allies. And so what you need to start saying about the Justice Democrats, they are not our allies. I'm done being a chump, and stop donating to them, because that's how we hold them accountable. Stop donating to the Justice Democrats. And until people start saying that, you are a chump on purpose and propping up the establishment. That's just a fucking fact. Small dollar donors heard from other allies, such as Justice Democrats, in emails dating back to last February. That courage to change was building out the infrastructure to back more progressive insurgent candidates who will fight for our values in Congress. This is the kind of progressive infrastructure we need to take on the entrenched incumbents who are backed by the DCCC. Wow. And now we, through AOC, are supporting the candidates backed by the DCCC too. Isn't that amazing? The 2022 cycle has marked a noted change in direction from this ethos for the Courage to Change PAC. The first candidates to get 2022 primary campaign donations from AOC's Courage to Change PAC were not AOC squad sisters, but a group of 31 Democrats that skew overly corporatist. Unbelievable. Out of the 31 recipients of Courage to Change donations in 2021, just 6 of the 31, a measly 19.4%, co-sponsor the Medicare for All bill. Wow. 6 out of 31 of them support Medicare for All. How progressive. Wow. Further taking both the 2019 and 2021 resolution for a Green New Deal into account, only 4 of the 31 co-sponsored either version of that resolution. This is wow. In fact, 21 of 31 of Courage to Change recipients didn't co-sponsor any of the 3 key pieces of progressive legislation: Medicare for All, Green New Deal, and a bill to end the Yemen war. Wow. At this rate, they're going to be giving cash to Mitt Romney in 2024. Here's what AOC said when she was running for office.
What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee, and criminal justice reform. We can do it now. It doesn't take 100 years to do this. It takes political courage.
Hey, you guys support none of my progressive goals? Here's some money. She would have given money to Joe Crowley. She would have given money to the guy she actually ran against. That's how effed up she is. Further, 55% of the recipients who took AOC's PAC money, 17 of the 31, received money from the New Democrat coalition, including Ron Kind's successor to Joe Crowley. What is the New Democrat? That's the corporate Democrats. They just put new in front of it. That just means corporate. That means corporate. The Democratic Leadership Council has made their life's work So that's the DLC. Those are the people who are literally in bed with the Koch brothers, but they call themselves Democratic. Do you see why we need a third party? Do you see why the People's Party needs to be successful? Do you see why I need to stop donating to the Justice Democrats? And the Democratic Leadership Council has made their life's work into the corporatization of the Democratic Party and fighting the left influence within their own party. That's a fact. And here's what she used to say.
And then we walk away. We're not going to get anything done. Nothing's going to happen. Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed. So we need to push them. And they don't like it. I think I annoy them, but but that is our job. That's our job.
Yeah, that is called the double CK, ladies and gentlemen. She does not annoy them. She doesn't push them. Guess what? I annoy her. Ryan Knight annoys her. The progressives annoy her. Force the vote annoyed her and made her uncomfortable. She doesn't make Nancy Pelosi uncomfortable. She doesn't make Chuck Schumer uncomfortable. She doesn't make any of the corporate Democrats in the House uncomfortable. She tried to make a podcaster, me, uncomfortable by saying my words were violence. She's a regular shit lib. Congratulations on your failed experiment called the Justice Democrats. And she's a straight up liar now, 100% gaslighting liar, who's not only gaslighting and lying to you, but literally funding corporate Democrats that her PAC explicitly said would not do. Honest to God, I wouldn't doubt she gives money to fucking Mitt Romney. This all begs the question, why did AOC's team do this? This is off-brand for the 2019 version of AOC, but sadly on par with the new one who refers to Nancy Pelosi as Mama Bear. AOC chose to have a PAC that said they'd only back candidates who didn't take corporate PAC money. In short, AOC, encouraged to change, chose to lie to your effing face. And then they have Ryan Grimm, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, and the rest of the shit libs who have MSNBC contracts run interference for them. That's what happened. If they didn't legally have to report the numbers, you wouldn't know about AOC breaking her promise with regards to where her PAC spends its money. But as of this writing, the PAC mission hasn't changed, though Courage to Change and AOC herself certainly have. By the way, this is from Justin, Unify the Left. And this is good. I like to play this clip because this is also mind-blowing. Enjoy.
Don't people realize that the most powerful position you can be in is when you are not materially attached to a position of power? If you're a one-term Congress member, so what? You can make 10 years worth of change in one term if you're not afraid.
The left must scrutinize our allies and hold one another to higher standards moving forward, but also to start pushing for candidates who run outside of the two corrupt political parties. peoplesparty.org. Otherwise, they will continue to amass wealth and power for themselves, all the while failing to deliver on the policies that most Americans overwhelmingly favor. And here's AOC telling you what the problem is and then completely turning around. AOC would say she is being divisive and hurting black and brown people. That's what AOC would say about this AOC. And this, why? Because she says this.
In what you said earlier, too, I wanted to go back to what you said about our left party. We don't have a left party in the United States. The Democratic Party is not a left party. The Democratic Party is a center or center conservative party. We do not advocate for, we can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for all. Not even a floor vote that gets voted down. We can't even get a vote on it. So this is not a left party.
I like playing that clip. It makes me laugh. And I look forward to The Intercept and Ryan Grimm and Dave Weigel in the Washington Post to keep running. Now Jeff Bezos has his progressive reporter, the guy who's his Republican reporter sent to cover progressives, Dave Weigel, is now running interference for AOC. That's how bad it's gotten. Jeff Bezos wants to protect her. That's how bad it's gotten. Wow. Ron, were you how stunned were you at? I mean, I heard about this, but to learn the details of it was certainly jaw-dropping, even for me.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard about it too when it happened a little while back, and it's just there's no reason for it whatsoever. And another thing I think we haven't pointed out yet is a lot of the people gave the money back. They wouldn't even accept it. Connor Lamb from Pennsylvania was one of them, which that guy, politically, that guy is basically Trump. He's, pretty much Trump politically. That guy gave the money back. And so you have this situation. If you want to make the argument like, oh, well, strategy's not sexy. It's like, well, when the strategy's not working, how really not sexy is it then? Because it'd be one thing if she did something like this and a bunch of concessions were made where a bunch of these more conservative Democrats said, you know what, we're going to endorse a Green New Deal. We're going to endorse Medicare for all. Nothing like that has happened. Nothing at all. So she turned her back on her base, did something extremely wrong, as we covered, and it made no sense strategically either. And also, even just putting her aside, like just putting aside how bad it is that she did this, what is it saying about this establishment where there are members of it who will accept money from the oil and gas companies, who will accept money from big pharma with a smile on their face, but take the moral high ground when it comes to accepting money from one of their colleagues? What is that saying? Does that sound like something that can be reformed to you?
No, not at all. Especially when that's like giving money to Ralph Nader and Ralph Nader gives it to Exxon. It's like, what are you doing? No, look, I got a strategy. I don't want to participate in that strategy. Can I have my money back? That's what that's like. It's like you give money to Michael Moore and then he gives it to Halliburton. You're like, no. We're buttering them up. What?
Well, I said on this show a while back, I was never going to give money to candidates ever again. And I have admittedly since altered that slightly. My exception to that is I will give money to local candidates. There's a lefty running for city council in my neighborhood. I did give him a little money. So, but that's, I do encourage people. If you're going to put money into electoralism, stay local. It's just like, it's like produce. Stay local.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I also donated to the People's Party. I think that's why you joined it, right? At least you joined it. Yeah. So I think everybody should do that. Join the People's Party. If you can donate. And
so when I registered with the People's Party, I tweeted about it, and some other people tweeted about it, saying that they did it too. Like, yeah, I registered with the People's Party too, and this this Democratic person on Twitter, Democratic Party person on Twitter, replied and said, "This whole thing is so stupid. This sounds like people saying I just pooped in the toilet." And I responded. I said, based on this analogy, wouldn't that make you the person who shits on the floor and expects things to change? You gotta work on your trolling game. You failed big time on this one.
Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.